What happens when an old soldier retires? I can name several movies that deal with this exact topic, but Cursed Cocktails is no Rambo, First Blood. Sword and Thistle is no Baldur's Gate 3. What sets the books apart in S.L. Rowland's Tales of Aedrea are the heart and atmosphere. Hello, my name is Dakota, and this is UpperPen. And as you probably guessed or read the title of, I am indeed talking with S.L. Rowland. So thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you. Happy to join you.
For folks who don't know, and I'm sure I pronounced the name of the world wrong, what are these tales?
You're close. Tales of Adria
Adria.
is how I pronounce it. But it's a series of standalone novels, mostly cozy fantasy or low stakes fantasy that are set within an epic world.
You also have some not cozy fantasy lit RPG style books, right?
I do have I want to say 10 lit RPGs. That's kind of where I got started. And there are some cozy moments in them, but they're definitely geared towards more action and adventure.
So the way I found you personally was Sentenced to Troll, which is a very bizarre type different.
Yeah, so it's a weird premise for sure.
Um, so how did you get started with Cursed Cocktails?
So I want to say it's probably around like 2022 or so. Um, I was working on book five of the Sentence to Troll series, and I read Legends and Lattes, and it touched on something that I didn't really know that I wanted or needed. And so the entire time that I was, writing this, 120,000 word novel, I had the idea of Cursed Cocktails, which was Curses and Cocktails was the title, the original title. And it was just kind of percolating in the back of my mind for months on end. And by the time I finished Sentence Patrol 5, I was ready to hit the ground running. And took, I don't know, 5 or 6 months, and I had the first draft ready to go.
I feel like you're not the only person who really connected with Travis Baldrie's Legends and Lattes because it seems like cozy fantasy kind of exploded right around then, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it was the catalyst that
Mhm.
kind of launched the new cozy movement. Because I mean, kind of cozy-ish fantasy has been around for quite a while. Terry Pratchett and like T. Kingfisher, House Moving Castle, all those things. But he kind of, I guess, reinvigorated the genre and gave it a uh, a name for it. Because I don't think people were really calling it cozy fantasy before then.
Yeah, and the idea of low stakes was very appealing to me, especially in these books, right? Because this is a retired, sorry, Cursed Cocktails follows a retired soldier, which is like, I want to know what happens when you're no longer in the military in these fantasy worlds.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the attraction to me is like, telling these more like non-traditional stories of, what happens once the quest is over, once the battle is done, once these characters who have lived, very full lives, they get a chance to kind of settle down or, take the road less traveled.
Your characters are also typically older. Is there something that draws you to older characters?
I mean, I spent, my first ten books followed characters that were, you know, in the kind of like 18 to 22-ish range. And I don't know, as I've gotten older, and I don't know, I guess my tastes have changed a little bit, and I feel like you know, there are a whole lot of people out there who are no longer in their late teens and early 20s that want to read about stories that, I guess are more representative of, where they currently are in their life. And I don't know, I just think it's a lot of fun to tell those kinds of stories.
It's good that you started with cursed cocktails too, because you kind of have this like, let me tell you a story at a bar vibe to it. Um,
Yeah, it was kind of well, I mean, when I wrote it, I didn't expect there to be a series of, like, spin-offs and whatnot. I kind of, I wrote it as a passion project. I didn't know if it would sell. I just knew I wanted to tell the story. And then very quickly, it became my best-selling title, my most popular book, and really just kind of changed the direction and the trajectory of my writing career.
do you still find that you want to write grittier stories?
Yeah, I'm actually right now I'm working on two projects. So the other one is Tales of Aedrea 5, which is my going to be my attempt at a cozy horror. But the other one is basically expanding a novella that I wrote back in 2020 called Path to Villainy, which is
Ooh.
basically, a story of this NPC kobold who becomes self-aware and kind of remembers all of the terrible things that the players have done to him, so that he goes down a path of vengeance. So it's very much the opposite of cozy fantasy.
Ah, I love kobold stories. So Path to Villainy is perfect. I'm glad you're expanding it.
Yeah, people have asked for many years, and so I finally got around to it. So hopefully later this year, that one will be at least progressing towards being finished.
Is it difficult working on two projects at once, though?
It's not something I've really done much. So the way I kind of have it right now is, like, my Tales of Adria is my primary project that I work on during the week. And then if I have time on the weekends, I go through and um, right now I'm kind of basically taking the novella and rewriting it with my kind of current writing style, since it has evolved quite a bit over the past 6 years. And I figure if I'm going to expand it, then I should, have kind of the same voice throughout. And so that's what I'm working on right now. I think probably by summer I'll be caught up on the old content, and I'll be, working on new chapters.
Wow. Okay. I forget how quickly people in the in this community really how quickly you guys write. So like a book, two books finished in the same few months is rare outside of lit RPG. And
Well, I mean, I'm by indie standards, I'm a pretty slow writer. I normally get like 1 to 1.5 books done a year. And I mean, I've gotten slower as the years have ticked by. Like when I first started publishing, I could do about 3 books in a year. And I guess, the more the more you second guess yourself, the more you want to get things right. So, my process has definitely slowed down.
well, it's not just that, but I feel like you go to a bunch of conventions and you do a bunch of things out in the world to promote the books.
I do. I like going to conventions. Writing is a very solitary career. So, that's when I get to connect with other authors and readers in person. So I try to make it to a few each year.
Okay. Are you going to the Lit RPG Con, I think, right?
Yes, I'll be doing Lit RPG Con, I'll be doing Dragon Con, and then next month I'm doing Jordan Con. First time doing that one.
What is that one?
So it started out as a convention that's kind of geared more towards, Wheel of Time and like all things like Robert Jordan.
Yeah.
But over the past few years, it's kind of expanded to other genres. And I know there's a pretty big lit RPG presence there, so I decided to check it out and see what it's all about.
Um, do you still find yourself writing when you go to these things, or do you kind of put it on hold?
Very rarely do I actually write when at a convention. I mean, I make notes and things like that. I'll get inspired a lot by the conversations and the content of what's happening, but uh, yeah, I haven't mastered the art of working on the road.
I feel like the conventions and just meeting people is incredibly energy draining. So I couldn't imagine going back to a hotel room at like 2 in the morning trying to type something out.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of an introvert, so while it is great to see people, it does take a lot of energy by the time it's all over.
How many people ask you to make the cocktails from Cursed Cocktails?
Uh, I don't think anyone has like asked me to make them, but they're always curious about the recipes and like where I got the inspiration from and things like that. And I do have all of the recipes available on my website for people who want to make them in real life. So we get quite a few downloads of that each month.
So on the bookmark that came with Cursed Cocktails, I did the Kickstarter. It lists four liquors and then oh, where'd I put it? Sorry. Herbal elixir. What the hell's an herbal elixir?
So I think that was basically what I did is I started with a real world drink and its ingredients, and then I kind of reverse engineered it to fit in a fantasy setting. So I would have to pull up like what that actually is. But I feel like it's let's see what it was. I know I have it on here somewhere. It is the herbal elixir. Is AKA green chartreuse. So,
And that's all on the website too, right? Those like uh conversions or whatever you want to call them.
yeah, it's like a PDF download. Like you sign up for my newsletter, and then you get emailed the PDF with all- it has pictures and has like the fantasy version, has the real version, and it has the instructions to make it. And actually, for like the latest like collector's editions I did, it actually has it included in the back of the book, so that'll be
Ooh.
pretty cool.
That's really cool because you did were they leather bound ones or like
They're
faux
faux
leather?
leather,
Yeah.
but yeah, they have actually, well, I have one of them propping this up right now. Uh, yeah, the shiny
It's
sprayed
so
edges.
pretty.
Yeah, lots of art, a map in the front. These are dummy copies, so they're blank aside from pictures and whatnot. But yeah, they're super quality. I went all out with these, and basically, if there was any features I could add to it, I went that route. So
So how did you commission the artwork for these things? Because you're independent, so I imagine it's all you.
yeah, I mean, I work with a lot of artists. You know, even outside of when I'm doing a Kickstarter. So basically, I just kind of rallied them all to the cause when it happens, and it's an upfront cost, but the whole point of the Kickstarter is you don't ask for less money than you need to actually fund the project. So once once that all the the pledges come in, then I just disseminate the money to where it goes. But yeah, I used I think three or four different artists on this, and the cover designer, Liz Delton, she's another author, but she had actually read the books. So like every little minute detail on the cover, she pulled from the actual text, which was very cool.
That is really cool that she did the cover. I didn't know that.
Yes, she has a nice little side hustle going on for a lot of special editions.
So circling back to the actual books though, I think I really, really enjoy Sword and Thistle because he goes on a little adventure, right? And it's the other ones kind of feel like very place centered.
Yes, Sword and Thistle, and then the newest one, There Be Dragons Here, are both more cozy fantasy adventure than just kind of super calm cozy fantasy. Which I tend I don't want to say I like it better, but it's fun to like change things up and like go on a little quest where you don't know what you're going to find along the way. Um,
And each of the books is independent, but they do kind of overlap in certain ways, right?
yes, they're all standalones, but you'll see some crossover characters, crossover locations. Um, Specifically, Cursed Cocktails and Sword and Thistle are a little more intertwined than the others because there's one scene that you get to see from the point of view of the main character in each book, which I thought that was a lot of fun.
So you did break up the points of view a little bit here. How did that help the storytelling, or was it just for fun?
Do you mean between those two, or
Eh, yeah, there is a moment of someone else's point of view in Sword and Thistle, isn't there?
is so usually
Maybe I'm
so my
mistaken.
prologues have a different point of view
Okay.
than the main content. It's been like 4 years since I wrote that one, so I'm trying to remember. I know there's multiple points of views in Dairy Dragons here. You get a couple of different ones near the end, but
I might
I
just
don't
be
know.
thinking of There Be Dragons.
Yeah, I don't know that I did the multiple point of views in Sword and Thistle. Because I think we kind of stick with, aside from the prologue, we stick with Dobbin throughout
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah, because there's only one narrator and the other one has two.
Yes,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah. Once we got to the Halfling's Harvest, we brought in a second narrator because it was more female centric cast. Uh,
Was it strange kind of writing the Halfling's Harvest is kind of like an entrepreneurial tussle a little bit, like these two places trying to like vie for the best wine or vineyard. Was it like just different? Did you know anything about wine before you started?
a pretty good amount. Before I went full time as an author, I waited tables for 10 years in a lot of like high end restaurants across the country. So, part of that meant I had to know a bit about, spirits and wine and, you know, the different palettes and how to pair it with food and whatnot. So I had a pretty decent like base level, but I always do a little bit of research for whatever it is I'm working on. So with that one, I was actually surprised to find out that there are quite a bit of vineyards in Missouri.
Okay.
So I went and toured one and got to see how they make the wine kind of up close and do a little tasting at the end. So that was a good experience.
Is this now a tax write-off because it's for your business?
Oh, of course. Anything you do for research, you can kind of write it off, I think.
You're full-time as a writer now, right?
Yeah, since 2019. So,
That's crazy awesome. So go you.
yeah, thank you. It's been a ride, but I I can't imagine, doing anything else at this point.
Well, you're also really good at Kickstarters, it seems, because you've done a few of them. And other authors I've heard from are like, it's a nightmare. I don't know why people do this.
Yeah, I've done three of them. So the first two were kind of special edition like book boxes, where I basically kind of made my own like bootstrap special edition for Cursed Cocktails and Sword and Thistle. Like I ordered new covers and like basically made dust jackets that I put on myself for each book. And I got vellum inserts, which is like the clear paper that you can insert into the book and still see the text beneath. I did that with character art, and then a bunch of stickers, postcards, bookmarks, and everything that I just kind of put in this little fancy little box. But by the time I'd done the second one, I was beginning to realize that it takes a lot of time to put all those things together myself. And like each time I release a new book, there are new readers who come in who want the first one as well. So like the first one took me like a week to put all the boxes together. The second one took me 2 weeks. And I was like, if this keeps happening, I can't do this on my own. So then that's when I decided to kind of take it up a notch with the like collector's editions. And, I partnered with Merrick Books for fulfillment, and like they have all these contacts with the printers and everything. And basically all I do is they send me the tip-in sheets to sign, and I sign those, I send them back, and they handle everything else.
Dang, that's nice.
Yeah, well, they take a little chunk of the profits, but
Yeah.
it definitely makes things a lot easier on my end and has allowed me to do like a more premium special edition than I probably would have done on my own.
I can't imagine having all the books in your house and like packaging and like
Yeah,
just seems like a lot.
yeah, especially, we did three, the first three Tales of Aedrea all at once with this latest one. So, and most of the people backed the 3 book bundle, but now that it goes to their warehouse and they handle all the shipping.
After the special edition Kickstarter is over, because it's still going right now, right? As we talk.
So it's ended, but their late pledges are still
Okay.
available for about another month.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going
Because
to ask if you could back it still.
yeah, you can still get it for about another month. We just entered production with the printer. So that'll take a little while, and I think they expect to like ship things out mid-April. So then it takes like a couple months to get from China to the US, and so we're expecting June to begin like shipping them out to backers. So
Cool.
right around the corner.
And not only do you have the books, but you also have a lovely little fox plush, right?
Yes, we do. We have this awesome Spirit Fox plushie that it's made by U2s who do a lot of little figures and plushies for like Avatar, Lord of the Rings, like so many cool things. And yeah, they approached me about doing one of these. So we got 2 days left, and once the pre-order is done on that, I don't think you're going to be able to get them anymore. So
So the only reason I even knew it was happening though is because your newsletter. So I suggest people sign up for newsletters.
yeah, I mean, like there's so many social media sites and apps and everything to
Yeah.
keep track of, and I do my best to make sure I'm sharing everything to all of them. But if you really want to like get it straight from the author when it's happening, like usually the newsletter is the best bet.
Speaking of straight from the author, you also have a little store on your website where people can buy signed copies and the audiobooks.
I do, yes. Kind of last year, I began transitioning like my audio from Audible exclusivity to wider platforms, and so now you can get my audiobooks on my website, but you can also get them from like libraries, and like that was one of the big things that was important to me. But pretty much everywhere audiobooks are sold, you can find mine now. So it's pretty cool.
And it's really great because they're when it's not on Audible, they're slightly cheaper. and more of the profits go to you, I would assume.
Yeah, so like authors have really no control over the pricing on Audible. It's all kind of based on the length of the book and whatnot. And they use the credit system more often than not, so people don't want
Mhm.
to use a credit on a shorter book because they don't really feel like they're getting their money's worth. But when I sell my website, I can sell them for a third to a half cheaper than Audible, and I still get higher royalties because my online shop only takes like 5%, whereas on Audible I'm only getting 25% because I'm not exclusive with them.
Um, does the I don't know who you went through to get them narrated. Like, did you go through Podium or anything?
No, so I did that all myself as well. I used what's called ACX. It's the Audible Creation Exchange. Basically, it's just the back end of Audible, and that's how I found my narrator, Eric Martin, and he and I have worked on I think 10 books together at this point. But yeah, that's how I found him.
Does he get a cut of the audiobook sales from the website too, or did you just pay him straight up?
So I paid him per hour to record
Okay.
it. I think that's kind of some some narrators will do royalty split, but I think for the most part, if you pay for the recording, and it's like they do their job and then they get paid for it, and they don't have to worry about whether a book
Yeah.
sells or breaks even or anything like that.
It's just a little difficult for like authors who are maybe not as established yet to price them out, but I do think it's better this way.
Yeah, I mean there's a wide array of like price points, and if you can find an up and coming narrator before they break out, you can get a decent rate. And I mean, generally, I want to recommend, like, if your ebook is selling well, then you can generally take those royalties and reinvest them into the audiobook. If the ebook is not selling, I don't think the audiobook is necessarily gonna save it and like turn a profit. So it's kind of, risk reward when it comes to that.
That's smart. I just want more people to kind of get away from Audible so I can buy them and listen to them on anything.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said you were working on your Kobold book, Path to Villainy, and the newest in the Aedrea. I said it right that time, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, do you have any plans to do anything else, or are you just going to keep writing in the Aedrea series for now?
I have lots of plans. I'm just kind of too slow to fulfill them all. But I do I have folders of just ideas that I want to do. I mean, I have, a handful of other Tales of Adria novels I want to do. I have ideas for like spin-off series that are not as cozy, set in the same world, or, in different timelines of the world. So I think, as the years progress, you'll definitely see me expand my horizons. But right now I'm just trying to really build up a kind of expansive world for the Tales of Adria that kind of feels all connected and offers a lot of different kind of viewpoints within the same setting.
And they're all really fun so far. Like I guess I haven't read the fifth one. Maybe it's really boring. I hope
I
not.
hope not.
But they're slower, right? Well, I guess not even slower, but they're like less action oriented and more personal, it feels. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little more slice of life,
Yeah.
little less world ending stakes. Just more focused on the the personal challenges of the main characters.
I do think that traditional fantasy kind of misses out when they don't build the character in the way that like cozy fantasy does. It just like I never know what Drizzt is thinking in Ari Salvatore's books, you know?
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's kind of a different set of rules for, being traditionally published. Like, you have to fit everything within a certain page count, because you have to take in the cost of the printer and being an indie more often than not, it's ebook and audio are your biggest your biggest formats, and you don't really have the same constraints, so you can kind of tell the story in whatever way you want to tell it.
Um, my brain just died. I'm so sorry. Um, so after the next few books, you have some plans, but um, all of them are getting audiobooks that are coming up, right? So Path of Villainy is going to get an audiobook, I take it.
Yeah, I don't envision, writing any full-length novels that I wouldn't pay to have the audiobook done. Just because like a big part of my fan base is audiobook listeners, and I want to make sure that they're taken care of as well.
Are you done with Sentenced to Troll now? Is it like completely like
Yeah, it's
finished?
complete at six books. I mean, I won't say I won't ever like return to that world, but for the immediate future, my plans are elsewhere.
Um, well, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Oh yeah, it was a great time. So thanks for inviting me on.
And for folks who don't know what your website is, it is.
It's slrowland.com. Pretty simple, and you can find links to my newsletter and shop and everything on there.
It is very well put together, by the way. I like very good website.
Oh, thanks. I made it myself, so I feel like it could be improved in a lot of ways, especially when I look at some like other like more modern websites. But for something I put together like 6 or 7 years ago, it still holds up pretty well.
It's got such beautiful art though, and it's like simple enough to be functional.
Yeah, that's the key to it. Keep it simple, keep it functional, and you know, put some pretty artwork on there.
And that is where folks can sign up for your newsletter, which is how I keep track of what you're doing. Like a stalker, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Newsletter and Patreon are probably like the two best spots to be. I try to remember to like update my website occasionally, but it's much easier to just send out a newsletter when I have something come up and make sure that people get it.
So what are the perks on your Patreon, if you have any?
So several different tiers. The basic one is you get access to advanced chapters of like whatever project I'm working on. So you get to see them in their kind of pretty rough form, like before it's been to like beta readers and before I've kind of worked out all the kinks, because I don't always know how the story is going to unfold as I'm writing it. Um, and then like the next tier up is you get uh an advanced copy of the final ebook like before it comes out, and then uh, there's a $10 tier where you get quarterly art prints. So every month I commission a piece of artwork for the Patreon. Sometimes I'll let them vote on which characters and whatnot. But generally, every 3 months, I'll get all those printed out and mail them out to everyone on that tier. And then just above that is basically it's like paperbacks of new releases, hardcovers of new releases.
Cool. So
Yeah,
there's many ways to buy your books, is what I'm hearing.
absolutely. If you can think of it, you can probably find it.
Well, thank you again so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And if anybody out there listening or watching has enjoyed the conversation, I really encourage and please, please, please like, subscribe, rate, share, literally anything to tell me that you're out there in the void. Um,
Good.
and I'd love to chat with folks in the comments about the Tales of Aedrea. So yeah, thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too.